exclusive look behind one of the one-to-one coaching sessions I have with one of my strength mentor clients who is an NPC rugby coach in New Zealand. So I thought I'd share it with you guys as I feel like it's extremely valuable, and will give you guys some tools that you guys can take away and either put into your own coaching practice or your own training as well. So this here is based on our notes from our calls. So essentially, we have one-to-one calls where I'll go over different protocols, different practices, how he can bring that into his coaching practice, and then also use that for marketing and stuff like that as well. So let's get into it anyway. So this here is one of the things that we covered because he is obviously a performance coach. He's looking to get the best out of his clients, always also keeping them injury free, and just looking for that edge. How can he get people to that next level or become the next biggest thing? So what we talked about a lot was loaded stretching, sprinting, assessments, and then we also gave him a content plan and some next steps. So I'll just look at his next steps so you get an understanding of this. Okay, so biggest thing right now is he's super busy. Okay, so he's working the NPC, he's potentially going into some higher honors type work as well. Plus, he's got his athletes in his coaching program as well. So we just gave him very simple stuff. We gave him some a little thing that he can add to his calendar, which is capture expertise. All that really is when he's in his coaching sessions, just pull the camera out, get some content, nothing special. So it's very, very easy, but he's still staying relevant and top of mind. Use the loaded stretch and the sprint protocols. And then we catch up in a couple of weeks for another call to go over how he implemented it all, any questions and stuff like that. So big things we went over, first of all, was our loaded stretching. So loaded stretching is a protocols that I've learned from Kristen Thibodeau, Tom Shepherd, and it's helped me as nearly 40 years old, basically be the most athletic I've ever been. It's also stuff we use for our NFL and NRL and AFLW athletes, and basically any of our gym pop clients who want to be more mobile, more resilient, and live a functional life. And the good thing about loaded stretching is it's not just passive flexibility work. It's going to make you strong at in ranges. It's going to give you more mobility. It's going to make the body feel more safe. And it also does give you a hypertrophy effect as well. So you're getting strong, jacked, and long all at once with one little system. So what we essentially ran through was the 3 levels of loaded stretch. So level 1, simple loaded stretch, holding anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. This isn't easy, and that's probably why a lot of people don't use it, but those who do get incredible results from it. So an example of this could be something like a dumbbell knee over toe split squat, where you're at the bottom position of the split squat and you're going to actively contract your quads, your glutes as hard as you possibly can while you're holding in that in range position. And you're going to hold that anywhere for 1 to 3 minutes. What this does is because the muscle is under contraction the whole time, no blood is getting in or out, so you get this hypoxic effect. Over time, that's going to increase your ability to recruit and develop fast twitch muscle fibers. It also improves the fitness of the fast twitch muscle fibers as well, because you're getting a lot of them. And what you're also getting is this ability to contract that muscle very, very hard. So you get these neural adaptations as well. What it also does, though, is because the muscle is in a lengthened position and contracting, it reduces the risk of muscle tears as well, because that's when all muscle tears occur, is when it's at the end range, and then you get an extreme amount of force through that muscle at the end range. Something like a hamstring tear, for example, is they only happen when you're fully extended and you've got tension on the hamstring as you're pulling back through. It doesn't happen at the end of the stride. It happens at the start when your foot contracts the ground, then you hit that hamstring. Okay, so this is why this stuff here is going to improve that as well. What it also does is it helps to strengthen and thicken the tendons as well. So you're going to get a lot of huge benefits from this. Level 2 is a contract and relax in that stretch position. So basically, let's take the ATG split squat or the over toe split squat once again, is where you contract really hard for 10 seconds, then you relax deeper into the stretch. This method here, why I do use it as level two, it's quite hard, it's quite challenging. But what it does is it allows for really big improvements in range of motion, also range of strength as well. So you probably find from the between the first couple contract and relaxes, the amount of range you get is quite noticeable. Like it could be anywhere between 15 to 30 degrees difference, and it's often very noticeable. Beautiful thing about this as well is it's more sport specific. A lot of sports is obviously sharp change of directions. There is a lot of contract and relax going on the whole entire time, so this just prepares you for more sport specific type stuff. The third level, and this is something that we recommend that in this particular case for athletes, is you wouldn't use it in season. This would be only off season only. So essentially what you do, you go to that end position, and your goal is to contract and relax as fast as you possibly can. So you're essentially bouncing in that bottom position. What this does is obviously very high reward. Okay, so it's improving your stretch reflex in that end range position. It's improving your body's ability to contract and relax at that end range, but it's also like putting a lot of stress through the tendon as well, so that it gets used to those high stress forces in that end range with like a quite fast turnaround. Okay, so this does is when what we explained on the call is that when I've been doing this, like for 1 to 2 days after, I'm just like, oh, my joints are sore. They're sore in a way of like almost like DOMs, but in the joints and the tendons. Once that heals, though, my athletic ability just goes through the roof. My ability to bounce, my ability to jump, sprint, run, even my strength training. Like I've just gone back to full-time strength training now with like traditional barbell type work, and I'm already right up there with my strength numbers, and I haven't done any strength training for a long time. So it's one that is obviously high reward, high risk. Okay, not high risk, sorry, high joint stress. So it needs to be managed properly, and it isn't something that you would use in season. If you want a video of this, I'm pretty sure I've got a video of this on Instagram. So just DM me, and I'll send you that. I'll send you the video so that you can see these in motion as well. Then we just went through some different exercises that they can use in these different positions. So you got your knee over toe split squat. You got your reverse Nordics. This is quads. Then you got a top third Nordic hold. Okay, so this one here is absolutely brilliant to reduce hamstring tears. You're essentially at the top of a GHD, or if you've got a Nordic strap, something like that, or a Nordboard, and you're just going to come down to where you feel the hamstrings just to lock on straight away. Okay, and you're going to hold that anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes once again. And this here targets the belly of the hamstring, so the middle of the hamstring, which is obviously where you get a lot of tears. And this is going to strengthen that hamstring so much. It's an incredible tool. I started using these, or I'll use these with my clients when we're quite early in the off season, before we go back into any fast running. So, you can do this when they're doing long, slow running, but you want to sort of do it pre-season or off-season, so that when they go back to full sprinting, they're not only going to be more resilient in terms of their hamstrings, but they're also going to have more contractile, like the ability to contract their muscles a lot harder because of this isometric holds that we've been doing in their hamstrings. GHD incline holds, once again, if you need videos on these, I have videos of each of these exercises. But basically, you're in end range now. So at the end range with the hamstrings, the glutes, the posterior chain under a full stretch, and you're actively trying to contract the hamstring while it's in a lengthened position. Okay, and so this stuff here is good for the knees, as the knee does cross. The hamstring tendons do cross over the knee, and it also stabilizes the knee as well. So this is going to reduce the risk of things like ACL tears, stuff like that. Jefferson curls. Then we have a upper body stack. So similar sort of concepts. Okay, so with each of these exercises, the dead hang is going to give anyone much better range of motion, much better stability, much better shoulder health. It's also something that you can use in the start of a phase to build up clients for their pull-ups as well. A really, really good place to start, especially in an active hang. one of the things that I've found to be very beneficial for this is actually actively gripping the bar as hard as you possibly can, especially with the pinky finger. So what you'll notice, there's a nerve that goes all the way from the pinky finger into the lat. So you'll get more recruitment of the lat through the ulnar. All the way down into the lat, you'll get more recruitment if you grip with the pinky really, really hard, which is the muscle that we want under load when it's under stretch, and it's a great lat developer. There's a guy named Chuck Sipes who his number one lat exercise was an active dead hang for his lats, and he had crazy lats. So it's a great lat builder if you're actively contracting the whole time, not just stretching. And I used to do dead hangs a lot, and I could hang forever. But as soon as I added the actual active hangs into this with the active contraction, absolute game changer. And I was really able to restore shoulder function. I had a pretty bad shoulder injury. And I was able to restore shoulder function, and now I'm back to doing pull-ups and pull-downs and stuff like that, which is pretty bloody cool. Reverse French press, this is something that I've found to improve front rack mobility. So you take easy bar, cool, so French press is generally here. You'll reverse it, and you're going to come up into this like a high front rack position. Essentially, pretend like a high front rack position. So front rack you normally hit. You go into a high front rack position with the easy bar behind your head, and then you're going to actively contract, and you'll feel all the way down through the tricep into the lat. So you're contracting here. So you're actively contracting the tricep while you're lifting that elbow up, and you'll find that anyone's front rack improves very, very quickly. Okay, so perfect exercise for Olympic lifters or anyone who's doing a front squat. Dumbbell bench loaded stretch. Probably one of the best things that you can add for anyone who's doing bench press, especially athletes, rugby players, in that end drain position. You're getting up off the ground. It's giving you the explosiveness off the ground, but it's also just giving you a little bit of body armor in that end range as well. Then what we talked about was this 5-level sprint system that I've sort of put together called the line break system. And so a lot of coaching at the moment, well, you're seeing a lot come through of like sprint drills, and sprint drills are amazing, teaching the mechanics. Shout out to my man Paz, who's been putting a lot of great work into just sprint mechanics for his athletes, and he was saying that he's seeing some just like phenomenal results on the field, like of people who are a little bit uncoat, and now they're running really, really well and making more and more meters and more line breaks, which is very cool. So one of the issues I see with just pure sprint drills is like when you go to an actual game, there's no context. Like linear sprinting or linear speed, straight line sprinting is absolutely phenomenal. But in most sports, you're never sprinting in a straight line. So what we do with our line break system is essentially we'll use something like fundamental mechanics, like an A-skip, A-walks, anything like that, just to embed the pattern. Then we'll take that drill and we'll turn it into an actual sprinting drill, so an acceleration drill, a top-end drill, anything that's going to allow us to take what we've just learned in the skill and integrate into a movement pattern. Then what we'll do is we'll also add in a game element as well. So this could be we take that sprint drill, take the acceleration drill, and then we add in a ball. They've got to catch the ball or change direction, something like that. Then we build up to the next level, which is we add in change of direction all the time. We add in chaos. It's like, hey, you got to think different directions. I'm going to drop 2 balls. You've got to get the red one. So you're always having to constantly think, because that's what sports is. It's not like a straight 100-meter sprint. It's like, all right, cool. I am looking at the red guy, but the blue guy is actually who I need to go towards. And so adding in those elements then makes the sprinting actually connect to the game. And it's actually very motivating for athletes as well. Then what we sort of talked about was building out some systems for his athlete prescription. Okay, so especially when you're in teams, you might be handling anywhere between 20 to 30 athletes at once. And so we want to give them, these individualized drills, these individualized systems to get better and better. Hard part is doing that for 30 odd people without like working 100 hours. So what we're starting to build out is actual athlete assessments, and then we can sort of bucket them into different scenario or different categories. For example, sometimes, especially in team sports, you've got people who are fast but weak. Your classic sort of winger. Um, Super elastic, but they've just got no strength. So they get beat up all the time. Their joints get beat up and stuff like that. Slow but strong. So this might be your props, strong but slow. So it's like a prop. With strong as shit, but it's slow as shit as well, over 20 meters. So what we do is, obviously with them, we give them more velocity, but work. Restricted mobility, poor running mechanics, different issues and stuff like that. So what we were taking is, we will take this and then we'll give it a primary intervention. Okay, we'll show it and then we'll turn it into a system. Basically, we're putting notes of all the different people. Then we're going to use AI to essentially build out the systems and the tools so that we can remove a lot of the manual inputs, a lot of the manual data entry, so that then we can be like, all right, this is the program that's going to be working for this athlete, and this is how we can approach it. And it just allows us to give an incredible service and an incredible coaching system to a lot more people at a very, very high level. So anytime you guys are creating athlete assessments where you're working with a large group of people, do use AI to help you leverage the data entry, making choices and judgments to help get this across to the broader range of athletes. It is something that's actually I use a lot. So if you do want to learn how to do this, just comment AI, send me a message AI, and we can talk about that as well. From there, we just talked about how we can turn this into a content and then off-season plan. So right now, he's fairly busy. Okay, so he's really tied up with the professional scene, and so to grow his external business is not really his main priority right now. And he's doing some amazing things in this scene as well. So essentially, what we did is we made it very, very simple. So we gave him this content plan with the big realization of you don't need a media team, you don't need to create content. You literally don't need to create content. You're living the dream and helping others live their dream, and that's all you need to do is capture it. So what we do before every session, we create a recurring calendar and a reminder, what we call capture expertise. So when I was working with our athletes in person, they come either see us in the gym or they come and see us at our garage. I just put in my calendar as capture expertise, okay? And so what we did there is that would be my little cue to be like, okay, cool, who's coming in today? And then what are we working on in particular? And who in my audience could benefit from what we're doing? And so from there, I just get out my camera and be like, all right, today we're working on squats. Okay, cool. What's something, I don't want to just film the squat. I want to work on what we're working on in the squat. This could be, the setup, the mechanics, the breathing and bracing. It could be how hard to push. It could be how my athlete's feeling, what's the difference, what are they thinking about, what can I capture, and then we just essentially just use that as our content, okay? And it's really cool content as well because it's real. You see a lot of athlete, I guess you call them influencers, but probably more so thought leaders, is they just film their training. They film what they're doing in their day, and people love it because they're awesome people. And so you as a coach, you as a trainer is doing this stuff with your clients and just capturing that expertise. Just think, what am I actually working on with this person today? How can I make this something that would be valuable for my audience? And literally, the easiest way to do it is put a camera on, microphone, and just talk through the session. That's it. And just but before you go into it, think about, all right, we're working on squats, deadlifts, whatever it is today. I'm going to really make sure when I'm talking about, the breathing and bracing, the setup, whatever it is, I'm going to put some extra emphasis into making this, really cool to talk about. Cool. So that was our plan. Then we also set some phases, so what's going to happen over the next sort of 6 to 12 months, so that he understands okay, right now, all we're just going to do is run the protocols, come back to me with some feedback, come back to me with some questions, and we'll hook into it in the next session. End of season is make sure you've got heaps of social proof, and then we'll plan out your content calendar, because he's working with the current athletes, but his business is working with the future athletes, the future generations. And so we're cool, man. Once we're got the season out of the way, then we can go back to building the next generation. And so capturing that content, working on that is going to be something that's going to be absolutely phenomenal for him. And then in the off season, that's when we're going to go hard on building his business as well and turning it into a system so that the next time he goes back to in-season coaching with the clubs, is that his business runs without him. Okay, so this is basically our 12-month plan, which is very, very cool. So weekly metrics, he just works on this. That's his scoreboard. So guys, I hope you found that useful. This is what we do inside of our Strength Mentor calls. Not everyone wants to go hard on all the business stuff, so we just go hard on, the coaching systems, how to get across what you're doing in a better way, how to get, better tools and coaching and better results. And so it's very, very cool. If this is something that you feel like you're looking for in your coaching practice, I do have a couple of business audits where we go over 90 minutes. Essentially what I'll do is I'll break down exactly what the biggest bottlenecks are and what you're doing right now. That could be yourself, it could be your business, it could be the way you're delivering everything. And we'll just break down exactly what is going on and give you a crystal clear game plan of what you need to focus on. There's no cost for this. You just reach out and you can either take the plan, or if there's a way for us to work together after that, we can work out that as well. So hope you found that valuable, and let me know, and I'll keep making these because I think these are very